Hello, my name is Lynn Rios, and I want to welcome everyone to Fleetistics training webinar for GeoTab Drive. We've got a lot of ground to cover today, and I want to be sure I don't leave anything out, so I'm going to be holding questions until the end of the presentation. I expect it's going to take us about 30 minutes to cover this material. That'll leave us plenty of time for questions and answers at the end. If you have a question, you can go ahead and type it into the chat box so that you don't forget it. Now, you've probably already installed the app on your mobile device, but I'll be covering that quickly as well, just in case we have some attendees that have not. I want to draw your attention to the web page that I'm on. This is a page that you may want to bookmark. We've set up a help page for drivers and administrators. The address is www.fleetistics.com/drive, a nice, easy to remember URL. I'm also going to provide it in the chat window so that everyone will have easy access to it. On this page, we cover a lot of the material that we're covering here today, but in a summary view. There's a link on the page to register for this course. Just in case you have some drivers at your company that have not registered yet, you may want to share the page with them. Now, the first thing it shows you how to do on this page is how to download the Drive app. There's a link to both the Apple and the Android versions, and I'll show them both to you quickly. You do need to be viewing on the appropriate device to see the install button. Otherwise, it won't populate. Make sure that you're looking at the GeoTab Drive app. The logo has two hands on the steering wheel that form a G. If you install the My GeoTab app instead, you're going to have the wrong one. So once you're sure that you have the right app, tap to install, and your device will do the rest for you. Once that app opens, you'll be taken to the login page. Now, the first time that you log in, you're going to need three things: your username, your database name, and your password. In most cases, your username will be your email address, but some companies may use an employee number or nickname. You can only get email notifications through the system if you're using an email address for your username. Your ELD administrator will have made those decisions and should have provided you with the credentials that you need to log in. If not, you'll need to get with them to get these three things before you can log in. A little further down the page, there's a quick review of the workflow. What's going to happen once you log in? A quick review of what's on your dashboard, and a variety of video links that are also available to you in the ELD Info app that we'll be talking about later. These are task-oriented, quick videos that allow you to easily find and learn what you need to know and get back to work as quickly as possible. So let's move on to the login page. You'll notice that there is an Options button in the upper right-hand corner of the form. The first time you log in, you'll need to enter your database name. Start by tapping on that Options button, and it will open the field needed to enter the database. The server name does not need to be entered. It will populate on its own. Once you do this the first time, the app will remember your database name and server, and all you'll need to enter is your username. Hit Next, and then your password. Then go ahead and tap the Login button, and it is going to take you to the first step in the workflow, selecting a vehicle. This is part of a predetermined workflow that you will go through to make sure all of the required actions have been taken before delivering you to the HOS dashboard, ready to drive. The app will display nearby vehicles, or you can start typing in your vehicle name, and the app will display the available choices from your database. After I select my vehicle, the next thing presented to me is the trailer selection screen. I can remove trailers I no longer have attached and attach new ones, or if I'm not attaching a trailer now, I can continue with no trailer attached. To remove a trailer, just tap the X. To attach a trailer, begin typing in the name of the trailer and select it from the list, then tap Continue. The next screen prompts you to attach and remove shipments in the same way as trailers. You may have multiple shipments, and as you add and remove shipments, they'll be associated with the stops that you make. To add a new shipment, simply tap New Shipment and complete the form. All of this information is important to complete so that it will be included in your records of duty status. Now I have my trailer attached, I have my previous shipment dropped off and my new shipment attached, and I'm ready to be on my way. The next thing that happens is I'm presented with any previous logs that have not been verified. I can choose to verify all days or individual days, or I can skip that step until I've had a chance to review the logs. Verifying the log is your certification that the information is correct. Certifying is the same as signing a paper log. I'm going to go ahead and skip over this for now. We'll come back to this in a few minutes. It will now show me any automatic logs that were generated when my vehicle was driven that are not currently assigned to a driver. If these are my logs, I can assign them to myself. If not, I can skip them, but once I claim them, they can't be reassigned. So be careful to only claim logs that belong to you. The on-duty and driving logs are paired, so when selected, you get both of them. I'll skip that for now so that we can look at it when we talk a little bit more about edits. Next in the workflow is the vehicle inspection, or DVIR. The previous inspection is certified, then the new inspection form will open. As soon as I tap to inspect the vehicle, I'm going to be placed on duty, as that is an on-duty activity. You'll notice that all of the primary vehicle systems are listed, and when you select one, a submenu of items opens up. If there are no defects, you can tap the No Defects button and move to the next step. Tick the box by anything you feel is defective, and a remarks field will open if you need to add any notes. A future release will also allow you to add images if something requires more detail. I'm going to go ahead and just make some selections here now so that when we get to the next step where you actually see the DVIR report, I can show you how we're going to handle the repair part of that. Next, you must select if this is a pre-trip or post-trip inspection. In a future release, in-trip will be available as well. You can add additional remarks if needed, and tap Done, then Sign to complete the vehicle inspection. If you have attached a trailer, the trailer inspection will then be presented and handled in exactly the same manner. You'll notice if I forget to select pre-trip or post-trip, it won't let me move on to the next step. Once the inspections are done, you'll land on your dashboard. Notice it shows I'm on duty, that there is a defect that needs to be addressed. We have a small repair to do before we drive, so let's tap DVIR to resolve the defect. I add a remark that I have cleaned the lenses, mark repaired, and save the repair. Now my DVIR is complete, and I can navigate back to my dashboard. Let's review quickly what is on the dashboard. And I'm going to take a moment to show you what a dashboard might look like on another type of device. If you are using an iPad, the layout may be a little different, but all the same functions will be available. Now back to our smartphone layout dashboard. When I begin to drive, it will automatically move me to the HOS screen and display the countdown of my drive time to keep me aware of when I'm due for rest and breaks. If I need to, I can tap on HOS to go there, and I can manually put myself into any of the available statuses. Navigating back to the dashboard, the DVIR button will return me to the inspection options. The Messages button will display any messages from my dispatcher if that feature is being used. And there are also a variety of other available apps that your company may choose to use that will be displayed in this section. The ELD Info app is one I recommend for everyone. The ELD Info app includes all of the in-vehicle documents you are required to have in cab with you. If you're asked for a document at a roadside inspection, you can just tap the button and display the document. Even the applicable code that says electronic documents are compliant is linked to in the app. There are workflow documents in this app that cover the information we're talking about today, release notes on upcoming changes to the software, and a link to a series of how-to videos, the same videos we provided on the fleetistics.com/drive page I showed you earlier. From the app, use the back button in the upper left-hand corner to return to the dashboard. Now below the apps is a block that identifies the current vehicle and trailer assigned. Below that is the inspection icon. This is what you'll use when you have a roadside inspection. When you tap the button, it will prompt you to enter a 4-digit PIN number. This is to lock the device in inspection mode so the inspector can only access what he or she is required by law to be able to look at. When you review your logs, you'll see violations highlighted in red, but in inspection mode, nothing is highlighted for the inspector. The PIN protects you from the inspector being able to search through areas of your ELD that may highlight violations for you to address and correct. In inspection mode, it is up to the inspector to find them. You can use any 4 numbers, just remember what 4 they are, or you can choose no PIN if you're trusting. When you hand the device to the inspector in inspection mode, they can do their inspection and transfer any files they deem necessary. By tapping Compliance Print, they are able to view your logs and ask questions about them. When they hand the tablet back to you, you then remove it from inspection mode by tapping Exit. If you have set a PIN, at that point, you'll be prompted to re-enter the PIN to get out of inspection mode and be returned to the dashboard. The Settings button allows you to check for updates, change your password, send feedback to the developers if you encounter a bug, and review the information entered into the system that your logs are built upon. You'll also notice the bottom navigation toolbar for convenient access to other areas of the app. The 3-bar or hamburger icon on the right takes you into some additional settings and shortcuts to Assets, Inspection Mode, Main Driver Settings, Other Apps, and also a logout link. Dark mode is preferred by some drivers at night. Some just find it easier on the eyes. Now let's dig in a little deeper to the HOS section. We can easily see that my duty status is on. We can see the hours of driving time and cycle time I have left. We can see the rule set that I'm under, and we can change it. For instance, if I cross a border and now need to be under a Texas rule set. I can view my cycle recap in more detail, and I can view the exemptions that are available to me. Your administrator will populate the exemptions that they deem necessary for you to do your job. To take an exemption, simply tap to start the exemption and enter an annotation, then tap Apply. I'm under this exemption until I turn it off. You will notice all of the statuses are now grayed out on the HOS screen, and there is a notification that I'm currently under an exemption. Let's just take a quick look at changing a rule set. Simply select the rule set that you should be under. Now let's go ahead and stop the exemption we were under. If you have access to personal conveyance, your administrator will have a mileage limit set, and exceeding this limit will put you back on duty and driving, so be mindful of any limit set. When you begin to drive, you will automatically be put into driving status. There's no way that I can show you this in the demo since I'm not actually driving. But when you begin moving, the 4 status icon buttons will disappear. The countdown window will become larger, so it's the only thing that you're viewing while driving. When you come to a stop, the workday and cycle details will reappear until you're moving again. Anytime you're approaching a violation, the system will alert you in time to stop. When you take breaks and at the end of your workday, it's very important to set your status to off-duty or sleeper berth if that's appropriate for you. If you just stop driving, after 5 minutes, you will be placed in the on-duty status 5 minutes ago, and you'll stay in on-duty status if you neglect to manually press the off-duty button. This will create violations that you will then need to correct by adding logs. If someone else drives the vehicle, you will have their logs assigned to you, and you will then need to make corrections to your logs, or in some cases request your administrator to set those logs to be ignored, as they can't be removed once they're assigned to you. The middle icon on this screen displays and allows you to make edits to your logs. The information section here is telling me I have logs that require action. Some will be the ones I neglected to accept when logging in. When I tap here to review, it takes me to the specific issues that require attention. After correction, the warning no longer appears. In this instance, I had a missing location. It's clearly marked on my log. I can look and see where I was before and after, and make the appropriate edit. You'll notice on the daily graph, the bars appear in different colors. Green are verified logs, yellow are logs that have been edited and need to be verified again. These may have been edited by you or by your administrator. Any changes made to your log by your administrator must be verified by you before they become the official log. Gray logs have not yet been verified, and red indicates a violation has occurred. Green and white diagonal stripes will indicate a yard move or personal conveyance on the grid. You can see now that there's no longer a warning up here indicating that something needs to be corrected. If you ever need to make edits to your logs, simply tap the log that needs to be edited to open the edit screen. Automatic driving logs cannot be edited. Other logs will give you access to the fields that can legally be edited. In no case can a log be removed, but your administrator can set a log to be ignored. All edits require an annotation giving the reason for the edit or ignore. If you try to save an edit without an annotation, you'll be prompted to add it. When we return back to the log, we can see that the change has been completed. You can also add a log. Say I forgot to log off duty and need to add that. I do that by tapping the Add button and completing the form to add the log. At the top right of this screen is another setting gear icon. These are just settings that have been moved. Eventually, that will probably be removed from the application or possibly replaced with something else. And the red triangle icon on the upper right indicates a problem. When you see that, tap on it to see what the problem is. In this case, I have no GPS signal because the engine is off while I'm driving the desktop rather than actually in the vehicle. Finally, if the bell lights up, that means you have new messages. We aren't going to go into the messaging features today because not all of our drivers will be using that feature. Now, there may be times when there are two drivers in the same vehicle. In that case, you and the co-driver will need to log into the same device to be assigned to the same vehicle. Tap the driver icon, then Add Driver. That will open the screen for the co-driver to log in. This driver is my Spanish-speaking alter ego, used to demonstrate that the UI can be displayed in a variety of languages. The new driver will get all of the same prompts to update their logs as the original driver got when logging in. Once logged in, when you tap the driver icon again, both drivers are displayed with their current status, and the one who is driving will have the wheel icon next to their name. To review driver logs, simply select the driver whose logs you want to look at. Driving will continue to be assigned to the driver who has the wheel icon next to their name until the driver is manually changed in this section. When I tap back on my name, we return to my logs. To change drivers, tap the driver icon, tap driver's seat, and select the correct driver. So we've reached the end of our workday, and it is time to go off duty. Logging out at the end of your shift will take you through the workflow and help you to remember not to leave anything out. Tap the driver icon and log out. Again, I'm taken to the shipment screen to update any shipments being dropped off or picked up. Next, the trailer screen, as you may be detaching your trailer at the end of the day as well. Next, I'm taken to unverified logs again and can verify and certify all of my logs. At that point, I'm prompted to change my status to off duty and finally to log out. So that is the end of our prepared material, and now we can field any questions that you might have.